If you've decided that it's time to start high-intensity interval training to either lose weight or to improve your endurance and fitness levels, or even to give your testosterone levels a boost, then you'll want to watch this video. In it, I'll explain exactly what high-intensity interval training is, how to do it, and what benefits high-intensity interval training provide. If you want to turn back the clock on aging, then hit the subscribe button below to subscribe to my video channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Tuesday. I'm Lance Hitchings, and I created this channel to share my experiences in turning back the clock on aging. You know, what I've learned, what I've decided to do about it, and what results I've achieved. And one of the best ways to turn back the clock is to simply slim down, to get in shape, to improve your fitness and endurance levels. And one of the best tools in my toolbox for achieving just exactly that is high-intensity interval training. So if you've been following this video channel, then you've been learning about testosterone and some of the steps that you can take to naturally boost your testosterone production. And you've learned that one of the best ways to do that is just to simply lose weight and reduce your body fat. And high-intensity interval training combined with good nutrition is one of the best ways that I know of to do just that. Now, it goes by a lot of different names. High-intensity interval training is also called HIIT, or HIIT for short, but it's also called high-intensity burst training, high-intensity intermittent exercise, peak interval training, and sprint interval training. HIIT is basically any form of anaerobic exercise that alternates between short bursts of all-out effort and recovery periods, or rest, and is then done in cycles. At its core, HIIT is a type of exercise that utilizes intensely high energy output in short bursts of 10 to 30 seconds, followed by rest periods of 30 to 90 seconds, depending on the type of HIIT that you're doing. And then you repeat this pattern or this cycle 5 to 10 times, depending on the kind of shape that you're in, and again, the type of exercise that you're doing. Now, you can do HIIT 2 to 3 times a week, but that's it, no more. Don't exceed 3 times a week. If you're just starting out, I would recommend only doing HIIT a couple times a week. Elite athletes only do HIIT a maximum of 3 times a week. Any more than that, and you'll be overtraining. You won't be giving yourself enough time to fully recover, and you'll become fatigued. You'll tire yourself out. And the best part? You're only doing 5 to 12 minutes of strenuous exercise per week. 5 to 12 minutes. Studies have shown that doing HIIT produces the same gains in physical fitness as doing 2.5 hours of steady-state cardio per week. In fact, the latest and greatest scientific research has shown that doing HIIT is far superior to steady-state cardio in terms of losing weight. Low-intensity, steady-state cardio can burn fats and calories that are in the form of circulating free fatty acids in the bloodstream, stored muscle and liver glycogen, intramuscular fat, and circulating blood glucose. But it cannot burn fats and calories that are stored in adipose tissue. HIIT, on the other hand, not only burns fats that are stored in adipose tissue, but it can also reduce visceral fat, which is the disease-promoting fat that's stored around the internal organs. Furthermore, steady-state cardio suppresses your thyroid hormone, reducing your metabolism and actually training your body to become better at storing fat. Numerous studies have demonstrated HIIT's impressive ability to raise your metabolism for up to 36 hours after you exercise. Studies have also shown that HIIT shifts your metabolism towards burning fat for fuel rather than carbs. Now, HIIT training can also increase mitochondrial biogenesis. And mitochondrial biogenesis is a process whereby individual cells can increase their mitochondrial mass. And they do this in response to increased energy demands. And what that allows them to do is it allows them to increase ATP production. Now, ATP is the fuel that your cells burn. Your cells convert glucose into ATP, and ATP is the actual fuel that your cells use for energy. Now, it was discovered in the 1960s that physical endurance training allowed for an increase in the levels of mitochondrial content. And what this did is it allowed for an increase in the uptake of blood glucose in the muscles. And if you don't know what that does, it means that you can perform better. You can perform harder, you can perform stronger, you can perform faster, and you can perform longer. So an increase in mitochondrial biogenesis leads to an increase in ATP production, which in turn leads to an increase in the uptake of blood glucose into the muscles, which finally leads to an increase in enhanced performance. And HIIT training can increase mitochondrial biogenesis for up to 24 hours. Steady state cardio also raises your cortisol levels. Now, cortisol can break down muscle tissue, it can reduce bone density, it can cause insulin resistance, increases in abdominal fat, and it can impair your cognitive function. And it absolutely destroys your testosterone levels. So while steady state cardio can improve your fitness and endurance levels, in my opinion, HIIT is a much better choice for reducing weight and raising your testosterone. Since it's not about what you're doing as much as it is about how you're doing it, you can do pretty much anything as a form of HIIT. You can do running, cycling, sprints, you can do elliptical, you can do treadmill, you can do burpees, you can do free weights, you can do CrossFit, you can do swimming, you can even do jumping rope, whatever your favorite form of exercise is, as long as you're doing cycles of full-on intense bursts of energy followed by periods of recovery and rest. So here's the workout that I used to do, and I did it on an exercise bike. So I'd start off with a 3-minute warm-up, and then I would do an interval of 30 seconds of full-on intensity followed by 90 seconds of rest. So an interval for me was 2 minutes long, and I did 8 intervals for a total of 16 minutes of exercise, followed by another 3 minutes for cool down. So my entire workout was 22 minutes, 3-minute warm-up, 60 minutes of exercise, and another 3-minute cool down. But during that 22 minutes, I only did 4 minutes of intense exercise. Now, when doing high-intensity interval training, you should keep track of your heart rate. Get a heart monitor and monitor your heart rate. Dr. Mercola recommends that on the last 2 to 3 intervals of your exercise, you should hit your maximum heart rate or even slightly exceed it by a few ticks. Now, the rule of thumb for finding your maximum heart rate is to take the number 220 and subtract your age from it. Now, I'm not sure why they call it a maximum heart rate, if it's okay to exceed it, and I have routinely exceeded my maximum heart rate by 10 or 12 beats per minute. So, rule of thumb. So, what I'm doing now is a little bit different. A couple of months ago, I was watching Thomas DeLauer's YouTube video channel, and he was talking about high-intensity interval training. And in it, he said that if you're sprinting for longer than 15 or 20 seconds, you're not sprinting because you can't sprint for 30 seconds to a minute. And I realized that this was true. When I was sprinting for 30 seconds, I was dialing it back. I was holding something back because I knew I couldn't sprint for 30 seconds for 8 times. So now what I do is I'm sprinting for 15 to 20 seconds. I'm still doing 2-minute intervals, which means that I am resting for 10 to 15 seconds longer than I used to. Because he also said that when doing high-intensity interval training, you need to make sure that your rest periods are long enough that you're fully recovered and you're capable of doing the next sprint at the full level of intensity. So now what I'm doing is the first 4 intervals that I sprint for 20 seconds. And when I hit that 4th interval, when I hit the 20-second mark, I can really start to feel my energy flag. So for the final 4 intervals, I do those at 15 seconds. I sprint for 15 seconds. And believe me, when I get to the 8th interval, when I hit 15 seconds, I'm wiped out. And let me tell you, it's hard. It's a real workout. And I'm still getting my heart rate up past my maximum heart rate for the last 2 intervals. Okay, so what are the actual benefits of doing HIIT? Well, first off, It's the best form of exercise that I know of for showing the most impressive gains in the shortest period of time. When I first started doing HIIT training, I started out doing 6 intervals. The second time I did 7, the third time I did 8, and by the fourth time I was increasing the intensity level. So within a month, I went from doing 6 intervals at an intensity level of 6 to doing 8 intervals at an intensity level of 12. That's just 8 sessions. Next, weight loss. So I stated earlier that HIIT produces the same gains in physical fitness and endurance levels as steady-state cardio. But in a study done at the University of South Wales, in which they took 15 overweight men and broke them down into 2 groups, one group doing HIIT cycling and the other group doing steady-state cycling. And they found that the HIIT group lost 3 times as much body fat as the steady-state group, even though the steady-state group exercised for twice as long. EPOC, or excess post-exercise oxygen consumption, also known as oxygen debt, is the process where the human body consumes more oxygen than normal to return to a resting state, or homeostasis. Now, exercise that consumes more oxygen burns more calories. And since it's the intensity of the exercise, not the duration of the exercise that triggers EPOC, HIIT is the most effective form of training out there for stimulating the EPOC effect. High-intensity interval training also increases VO2 max, which is the efficiency with which oxygen is consumed during exercise. HIIT also increases muscle mass, size, and density, has powerful anti-aging properties, increases overall energy, normalizes blood sugar, increases insulin sensitivity, and improves sleep quality. It can also remove toxins from your muscles during the rest phase of the session. It also reduces both your heart rate and your blood pressure. And best of all, it increases testosterone levels, human growth hormone levels, and nitric oxide levels. And it increases your libido. I mean, come on, does it get any better than this? I don't think so. So in conclusion, I'm of the opinion that doing high-intensity interval training is one of the best strategies available for not only losing weight, but also for raising your testosterone levels, and ultimately for turning back the clock. If you enjoyed this video, then please subscribe to my video channel, share it with your friends and on your social media, hit the like button, and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Tuesday. And as always, thank you so much for watching.